The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor of Voss Family Market at exactly 7:47 p.m., and Alexander Reed's world broke with it. "You thief!" Victoria's voice cut through the anniversary celebration like a blade through silk. 300 guests froze. The string quartet stopped mid-note. Phones lifted in unison, modern-day guillotines waiting to record an execution. Alex stood by the flower display he'd spent 2 hours arranging that morning. White roses because Victoria once said they reminded her of fresh starts. His hands were still dirty from the work. His shirt collar was crooked because he'd been helping the new stock boy carry boxes out back instead of changing into his suit on time. "What?" The word came out soft. Too soft for what was coming. Victoria's heels clicked like gunshots as she crossed the floor. She was beautiful in red, always red when she wanted to hurt him, and her mother Margaret stood behind her like a general watching her favorite soldier march into battle. "Don't play innocent with me." Victoria's hand trembled as she held up a folder. Papers spilled out. Numbers Alex recognized but couldn't process because his wife was looking at him like he was garbage on her expensive shoes. Julian found everything. Every transfer. Every stolen dollar. "You've been bleeding my family dry for years." The crowd gasped. Someone whispered embezzlement and the word spread like fire through dry grass. Alex's mind raced but his face stayed calm. He'd learned that skill young. Stay quiet when people are looking for reasons to hurt you. "Victoria, I don't understand. What transfers?" "Reed Ventures." She spat the name. "That fake company you created to funnel our money. Did you think we wouldn't find out? Did you think you could just take from us forever?" Margaret stepped forward, her silk dress rustling with righteous anger. "We welcomed you into this family. Fed you. Gave you a job when nobody else would hire a nobody from nowhere. And this is how you repay us." The words landed like punches. Alex felt something crack inside his chest, not his heart breaking, but something older. Something that had been bending for 5 years finally snapping straight. A man emerged from the crowd. Julian Hart. 28, sharp suit, sharper smile. He put his hand on Victoria's shoulder, too familiar, too comfortable. And Alex understood everything in that single touch. "The evidence is clear, Alex." Julian's voice was smooth. "Practiced. You've stolen over $40 million from the Voss family business. We have documentation of every fraudulent transaction." 40 million. The number hung in the air. Phones captured every angle of Alex's face. Tomorrow this would be everywhere. The quiet husband who stole from his wife's family. The snake they took in and warmed by their fire. Alex looked at Victoria. Really looked at her. Searched for any trace of the woman he'd married 5 years ago in that small church ceremony where she'd cried and promised forever. Nothing. Her eyes were cold. Already moving past him. "I want a divorce." Victoria slapped papers onto the counter between them. The same counter where Alex had proposed to her 6 years ago with a simple silver ring because she'd said she didn't need diamonds, she just needed him. "Sign these. Get out. And if you ever come near me or my family again, I'll have you arrested." Margaret nodded. "We're being generous, not pressing charges immediately. But if you're not gone in 5 minutes, I'm calling the police." The crowd murmured agreement. Alex saw faces he knew, employees he'd trained, customers he'd helped, people he'd given second chances when the Voss family wanted to fire them. They all looked away now. Only Charles, Victoria's father, stood apart from the mob. The old man's face was grey. His hands shook around his whiskey glass. But he said nothing. He never said anything when Margaret made decisions. Julian leaned in close enough that Alex could smell Victoria's perfume on his collar. "You should have stayed in your lane, friend. Some men are born to build empires. Others are born to carry boxes." He smiled. "Guess which one you are." 5 years ago, Alex had fired Julian from his tech startup for stealing client data. He'd been kind about it. No charges, good reference letter, even helped him find the marketing job that eventually brought him into the Voss family orbit. Kindness was supposed to come back around. Sometimes it came back with a knife. 5 minutes, Margaret repeated, checking her diamond watch. "Or I make the call." The phones kept recording. Alex could see the headlines already. The comments. The threats. The way stories like this spread until truth didn't matter anymore. Only the narrative that fit people's need for drama. He looked at Victoria one last time. She was already turned away, whispering something to Julian that made him laugh. Alex picked up a small coffee mug from behind the counter. Chipped blue ceramic, ugly as sin, but it had been his favorite. He'd bought it at a thrift store the day he'd signed the papers to save this place. The day he'd fallen in love with the idea of family. "You'll regret teaching me my worth," he said quietly. Then Alexander Reed walked out of Voss Family Market with nothing but a coffee mug and the truth burning in his chest. Behind him, the crowd erupted in conversation. Phones uploaded videos. The party resumed with the relieved energy of people who just watched her execution and were grateful they weren't the ones bleeding. None of them saw Alex smile as he reached his car. None of them knew that wars fought in silence are won before the enemy realizes they're already surrounded. 12 hours earlier. Morning light filtered through the storage room where Alex sat on the concrete floor, teaching a 19-year-old kid named Marcus how to check inventory without the expensive scanner that Margaret refused to replace. "See, you can tell the difference by the label corners," Alex explained, patient as always. "These fold inward. Those are the organic ones. Premium price." Marcus scratched notes on his palm because he couldn't afford a notebook. Alex made a mental note to leave one in the kid's locker later. Anonymously. The way he did most things. "Mr. Reed." Marcus hesitated. "Can I ask you something?" "Always." "Why do you work harder than anyone here when you're just... I mean, when Mrs. Reed's family actually owns the place?" Alex smiled. It was a good question. An honest one. Because good work matters, Marcus. Whether people notice or not. Whether they appreciate it or not. You do it because when you look in the mirror, you know who you are. The kid nodded slowly, not quite understanding but wanting to. Alex stood and dusted off his jeans. They were the same jeans he'd worn for 3 years. Victoria hated them. Said they made him look poor. He'd kept wearing them anyway because they were comfortable and because somewhere along the way, he'd stopped trying to be what she wanted. "Get those organic labels to the front," he said. "We're doing a display before opening. I'll teach you how to make it pop." Marcus grinned and hurried off. Good kid. Reminded Alex of himself at 19, hungry for knowledge, desperate to prove worth. Alex's phone buzzed. A message from Laura Kane, his former assistant and current lawyer. "Documents ready when you are. You sure about this?" He typed back, "Give me 24 hours. I need to be certain." "Of what? That she's cheating or that you still care?" Alex didn't answer. Both questions hurt too much. He walked through the store, automatically straightening shelves, picking up dropped items, nodding to the morning cleaning crew. This place had become his life. Not because of Victoria, but because he'd poured himself into saving it. Every corner held a memory of late nights and early mornings. Every improvement was something he'd fought Margaret to implement. The automatic doors, the better lighting, the employee break room with actual furniture instead of folding chairs, all Alex's ideas, all fought for, all credited to Julian's brilliant marketing strategy. He'd stopped fighting for credit around year 3. What mattered was the work getting done. But lately, Alex had been asking himself a dangerous question. What happens when the work isn't enough? When you give everything and they still see you as nothing? Victoria's car pulled into the executive parking spot at 10:47 a.m. She was 3 hours late for her shift, but nobody would say anything. Margaret didn't believe in holding family accountable. Alex watched through the window as Victoria checked her makeup in the mirror, smiled at something on her phone, then walked in like she owned the world. Which, in her mind, she did. "Good morning," Alex said when she passed. She looked through him. Not at him, through him, like he was glass. "There's a stain on aisle 6. Handle it." No good morning back. No happy anniversary. No acknowledgement that today marked 5 years since they'd promised each other everything. Alex found the spill. Someone had dropped a jar of pasta sauce. He grabbed the mop and cleaned it himself instead of calling maintenance. Muscle memory. He'd been cleaning up other people's messes his whole life. As he worked, he overheard Victoria on the phone in the next aisle. "No, Julian, I can't meet you now. Because we're having the stupid anniversary thing tonight." "Yes, I have to attend." "I know, baby, I know. I'll make it up to you after." He won't suspect anything, he's too busy playing janitor. The laugh that followed was cruel. Familiar. Alex had heard that laugh before, when Victoria mocked the homeless man who asked for change outside the store, when she fired the single mother who'd been 3 minutes late, when she talked about Alex to her friends at parties while he stood nearby pretending not to hear. He told himself for years that she was stressed. That running a family business was hard. That her sharp edges would smooth once things got easier. But things had been easier for 2 years now. The store was thriving. Money wasn't tight. Victoria's edges had only gotten sharper. Alex finished mopping and wheeled the bucket back to storage. His reflection caught in the metal shelving. 32 years old, brown hair going grey at the temples, shoulders bent from carrying weight that wasn't his to carry. When had he become this? When had Alexander Reed, the kid who'd built a multi-million-dollar AI platform in his garage, who'd revolutionized data processing before he could legally drink, become the man who cleaned floors for a woman who could barely remember his name? His phone buzzed again. Laura, Victoria just moved $2 million from the joint account into her personal one. Thought you should know. So it was starting. The setup. Julian's fingerprints were all over this. Create financial chaos, frame Alex as the villain, swoop in as the hero who discovered the theft. Smart. If Alex had been anyone else, it would have worked. But Alex wasn't anyone else. He was the man who'd bought 51% of this company 5 years ago to save it from bankruptcy. He was the shadow owner who'd kept his name off every document because he'd wanted Victoria to have her family pride. He was the silent king of an empire that was about to declare war. "Hey, Mr. Reed." Marcus appeared around the corner. "Need help setting up for tonight?" Alex smiled. The kid didn't know it, but by tomorrow, everything would be different. "Yeah," Alex said. "Let's make it beautiful. One last time." The dinner nobody survived. The Voss family dinner happened every Sunday at 6 p.m. sharp in the private room above the market. Margaret insisted on tradition the way some people insisted on breathing. Alex arrived early to help set up. He always did. Tonight, he paid attention to details he'd normally miss. Victoria entered at 6:47 p.m. wearing a new necklace. Diamonds. Expensive. Not from Alex. He'd learned years ago that his gifts ended up in donation boxes. This one sparkled with the kind of guilt men buy when they're sleeping with married women. Julian arrived at 7:02 p.m., fashionably late, wearing cufflinks that made Alex's blood freeze. Silver. Engraved. AR. Forever yours. Alex had given those to Victoria on their first anniversary. She'd kissed him and said she'd treasure them always. Now they were on another man's wrists, casual as stolen breath. "Alex." Margaret's voice cut through his thoughts. "Pour the wine." He did. Started with Margaret, then Charles, then Julian first, Victoria interrupted, her hand on Julian's arm. "He's our guest." The room went quiet. Even Margaret looked surprised. There were hierarchies in the Voss family, and guests didn't drink before blood. But Victoria's message was clear. Julian wasn't just a guest anymore. Alex poured Julian's wine. Their eyes met. Julian's smile was small, private, victorious. "Thank you, buddy," Julian said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You know, Alex, I was just telling Margaret about your situation." "Situation?" Charles spoke up, rare and quiet. "The financial irregularities I've discovered." Julian pulled out his phone, swiped through screens with the confidence of a man holding cards he thought were aces. Reed Ventures. Transfers totaling over $40 million from Voss Family Holdings to this mysterious company. Same initials as you, Alex. Convenient. Margaret's fork clattered. "What?" "Julian's been doing deep analysis of our accounts," Victoria jumped in, too eager, too rehearsed, "to help modernize our tracking. And he found, well, Alex has been stealing from us. For years. Alex set down the wine bottle carefully. That's a serious accusation. It's a serious crime. Julian leaned back, enjoying himself. I have documentation. Transfer records. Shell company registrations. Everything points to you siphoning money while playing the humble son-in-law. Charles was staring into his whiskey like it held answers. Margaret's face had gone red, the dangerous kind of red that preceded ultimatums. $40 million, Margaret repeated. That's nearly everything we've rebuilt. Exactly, Julian continued. And I think we all know why he did it. Alex came from nothing. Married into money. Saw an opportunity. Classic gold digger behavior. Victoria nodded along, and Alex felt something die in his chest. Not love, that had died slowly, starved to death over 1,000 small cruelties. This was hope. The last gasp of the dream that maybe, somehow, they could find their way back. I built that company, Alex said quietly. You stole from that company, Victoria corrected. There's a difference. Reed Ventures is a fake business you created to hide theft, Julian interrupted. We've already contacted lawyers. Unless you want criminal charges, you'll sign divorce papers, leave quietly, and be grateful we're showing mercy. Mercy. Alex tasted the word. Is that what this is? More than you deserve, Margaret snapped. After everything we've done for you, given you, you betrayed us. Alex looked at Charles. The old man's hands were shaking. He opened his mouth twice, closed it twice. Finally, Margaret, maybe we should. Should what? Let him rob us blind. Margaret stood. I want him out. Tonight. Before he takes anything else. The anniversary party, Victoria said, sudden and sharp. We'll do it there. Public. Make sure everyone knows what he is. Then he signs and leaves. Julian grinned. I like it. Poetic. Alex stood slowly, every eye on him. You're sure this is what you want? What I want, Victoria said, is to never have married you. The words should have hurt. Instead, they felt like permission. Okay, Alex said. Let's throw a party. He walked out of the dining room, leaving his untouched plate and the cufflinks that weren't his anymore and the family that never was. In his car, he sat in darkness for 10 minutes. Then he called Laura. It's time, he said. You sure? Alex looked back at the building where he'd spent 5 years trying to earn love from people who only understood ownership. I'm sure. Okay. Laura's voice shifted to business mode. I'll notify the board. Emergency meeting tomorrow morning. Charles already agreed to testify. He did. He did. Kept saying enough is enough. I think even cowards have limits. Alex smiled without humor. Set it up. All of it. The rebrand too. Everything. They're going to destroy you on social media tonight, Laura warned. After the party. It's going to be bad. I know. You ready for that? Alex thought about Marcus learning inventory on a concrete floor. About the cleaning crew who always waved. About every small kindness he'd planted in silence while others took credit in light. Let them think they won, he said. Kings who announce their coronation aren't kings. They're just loud. He hung up and started the car. Tomorrow, the world would see Alexander Reed for the first time. Tonight, he'd let them think they destroyed a ghost. The party where everything burned. Back to the beginning. The market was beautiful. Alex had made sure of it. White roses everywhere. String lights that cast gold over expensive bottles and polished floors. The whole space transformed into something magical, and Alex had done most of it himself while Victoria was out handling business with Julian. Guests arrived at 6 p.m. Lagos elite, business partners, family friends, everyone who was anyone in the Voss social circle. They air-kissed and laughed and drank champagne that cost more than Marcus made in a month. Alex wore his best suit. The one Victoria had picked out 3 years ago, then criticized him for wearing because you walk like you're uncomfortable in it. He'd never told her that he was uncomfortable, not in the suit, but in the life it represented. Victoria held court by the wine display, radiant in red, Julian never more than 3 feet away. Margaret worked the room like a general inspecting troops. Charles nursed whiskey in the corner, looking older than his 60 years. At 7:30 p.m., Margaret clinked her glass. Speech time. "Thank you all for joining us tonight," she began. "The Voss family has built this business on integrity, hard work, and trust." Alex tuned out. He'd heard this speech before. It always ended the same way, with Margaret taking credit for success and distancing the family from failure. He found Marcus in the crowd, gave him a small nod. The kid nodded back, confused but trusting. At 7:45 p.m., Victoria took the microphone. "I want to thank my husband, Alex, for supporting the family business." Polite applause. Alex raised his glass. Smiled the smile he'd perfected over 5 years, the one that said "I'm fine" when everything was burning. Then Victoria's face changed, hardened. And Alex knew this was it. "Actually," she said, voice dropping to something cold, "I need to address something tonight. Something that can't wait." Concerned murmurs rippled through the crowd. Julian moved closer to Victoria, protective and possessive. Margaret's smile was thin and sharp. "I've recently discovered that my husband..." The champagne glass slipped from someone's hand and shattered. Victoria paused. Alex looked down at the spreading puddle of gold liquid and broken crystal. "Perfect metaphor. That my husband has been stealing from my family." And just like that, the execution began. The morning truth woke up. Alex didn't sleep that night. He sat in his small apartment, the one Victoria didn't know he'd kept from his startup days, the one with peeling paint and a view of the dumpsters, and watched his phone explode. The videos went viral in 20 minutes. By midnight, he was trending. By 2 a.m., news outlets were calling it the anniversary betrayal. By 5 a.m., there were memes. His face everywhere. Gold digger husband exposed. Wife catches thief red-handed. Poor man steals from rich family who saved him. The comments were worse. "He looks so guilty. That's what happens when you marry up. They always want what's yours. The wife is so brave for exposing him publicly. Those sad eyes though. Good actor." Alex read them all. Let each word cut. Tomorrow they'd learn the truth, but tonight belonged to lies. That was okay. Truth that came too easy was never trusted anyway. People needed to believe the lie first so the truth could hit harder. At 6:47 a.m., Laura called. "You see the news?" "I am the news," Alex said. "Charles is ready. Board meeting at 9 a.m. Everyone's confirmed except Margaret and Victoria won't come because they think they've already won." "Exactly." Laura paused. "You sure about this? Once we do this, there's no going back. No quiet life anymore." Alex looked at the chipped blue coffee mug sitting on his windowsill. "I've been going back for 5 years. I'm tired of that direction." "Okay then." Laura's voice hardened with purpose. "Let's show them what quiet money looks like when it speaks." Alex hung up and showered. Put on a suit he'd bought yesterday, midnight black, perfectly tailored, the kind of suit men wear when they're done apologizing for existing. He looked in the mirror and barely recognized himself. No, that was wrong. He recognized himself perfectly. This was who he'd been before he'd learned to make himself smaller so others could feel bigger. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Mr. Reed, my name is Detective Sarah Okonkwo. I've been asked to investigate embezzlement claims against you. I need you to come to the station for questioning." So Victoria had actually called the police. Alex texted back, "I'll be there at 2 p.m. Currently at a board meeting at Voss Holdings. You're welcome to attend. Might save you some paperwork." He sent Laura the detective's contact. She'd handle it. At 8:30 a.m., Alex walked into Voss Holdings headquarters, the building Victoria's great-grandfather had built, The one with family portraits in the lobby and legacy dripping from every marble column. Security tried to stop him. "Sir, I'm sorry, but Mrs. Reed left instructions that you're not allowed." "Check the shareholder registry," Alex said calmly. "I have every right to be here." The guard made a call. His face went pale. "I'm sorry, Mr. Reed. Go ahead." Word spread fast in buildings like this. By the time Alex reached the 10th floor boardroom, people were whispering, pointing. The man from the videos. The thief. Walking around like he owned the place. The boardroom was full. 12 seats, 11 occupied. Charles sat at one end, looking sick but determined. Various board members, Margaret's friends, family allies, people who'd known the Voss name for decades, watched Alex with open hostility. Julian sat in the guest section, smiling. Well, didn't expect to see you here. Thought you'd be halfway to another country by now." "Sit down, Mr. Hart," Laura said from the corner. She'd arrived early, prepared. "You're only here as a witness." "Witness to what?" Julian laughed. "To him confessing." "To truth," Laura replied. "Which I know you're allergic to, given your employment history." Julian's smile flickered. The door opened. Margaret entered, dressed for war in black and pearls. Victoria followed, wearing sunglasses indoors, probably to hide the fact that she'd been crying or celebrating. Alex couldn't tell anymore. "What is he doing here?" Margaret demanded. "I want him removed immediately." "You can't remove me," Alex said quietly. "I called this meeting." "You? You have no authority to." "Actually," Charles interrupted, and every head turned because Charles never interrupted Margaret. "He has every authority. More than anyone in this room." Victoria pulled off her sunglasses. "Daddy, what are you talking about?" Charles stood. His hand still shook, but his voice didn't. 5 years ago, this company was dying. We were 3 months from bankruptcy. The banks had frozen our credit. Suppliers wouldn't work with us. We were finished. "We rebuilt," Margaret snapped. "Through hard work and through Alexander Reed's money," Charles said. "He bought 51% of this company. Anonymously. Through Reed Ventures. He saved us." The room exploded. Victoria stood so fast her chair fell over. "That's impossible. Daddy, why are you lying?" "I'm not lying." Charles pulled out a folder. Thick, old, coffee-stained. "Here are the original purchase agreements. Signed by me. Witnessed by our lawyer. Alexander Reed owns the controlling share of Voss Holdings and every subsidiary under it." "No." Victoria's voice broke. "No, Reed Ventures is a fake company. Julian proved it. He showed us the transfers." "The transfers were legitimate," Laura stepped forward, her voice cutting clean through the chaos. "Reed Ventures is Mr. Reed's holding company. Created after he sold his AI startup to Tech Global Industries for $470 million when he was 26 years old." Silence. The kind that happens when reality breaks. 400. Margaret couldn't finish the sentence. "Mr. Reed was a self-made multimillionaire before he ever met your daughter," Laura continued. "He invested in Voss Holdings because he believed in the family legacy Victoria described. He requested anonymity because he didn't want to damage family pride." Julian stood up. "This is insane. I audited those transfers. They were theft." "You audited nothing," Laura cut him off. "You were fired from Reed Technologies 5 years ago for attempting to steal client information. Mr. Reed was kind enough not to press charges. Gave you a reference letter that got you into marketing. And you repaid that kindness by committing actual fraud, manipulating financial reports to frame him for embezzlement." Julian's face went white. Then red. "You can't prove." "I have your emails to Victoria," Laura said. 23 of them. Planning this entire scheme. Plus your texts. And the hotel receipts. Would you like me to read them aloud? Victoria made a sound like a wounded animal. Margaret grabbed the folder from Charles. Flipped through pages with shaking hands. Purchase agreements. Bank transfers. Proof of payment. All dated 5 years ago. All legitimate. All real. Why? Margaret's voice was barely a whisper. Why would you hide this? Because Victoria told me her family built this legacy with their own hands, Alex said. She was proud of that. I didn't want to take that pride away. I wanted to help without taking credit. But you stole, Victoria tried. I stole nothing, Alex said, and for the first time, his voice had edges. I invested everything. Saved your company. Worked in your store. Taught your employees. Fixed your problems. And I did it all quietly because I thought love meant making you shine. You're lying. Victoria's makeup was running now. You're a nobody. You came from nothing. You were just some guy who built a company worth $500 million, Laura interrupted. Some guy who revolutionized AI data processing. Some guy who Forbes called the silent titan because he refused media attention. Some guy who could have bought your entire legacy 10 times over but chose to save it instead. Alex pulled out his phone, opened a news article from 7 years ago, slid it across the table. 26-year-old Alexander Reed sells Reed Technologies for record sum, disappears from public eye. His picture, younger, sharper, standing in front of a building with his name on it. Victoria stared at it, then at him, then at the article. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish drowning in air. I didn't disappear, Alex said quietly. I just found something I thought was worth more than money. I was wrong. This is... Margaret sat down hard. This is impossible. We vetted you. When Victoria said she was marrying you, we investigated. You were nobody. You worked at a coffee shop. I owned that coffee shop, Alex said. And the building it was in. And 12 others across the city. I was bored after selling my company. Wanted to work with my hands for a while. That's where I met Victoria. You lied to me, Victoria whispered. I told you I had savings and wanted a simple life, Alex corrected. You assumed that meant I was poor. I never corrected you because it didn't matter. Or so I thought. This changes everything, one of the board members said. If Mr. Reed owns 51%, then he has controlling vote on all company decisions, Laura finished. Which brings us to today's agenda. Mr. Reed has motions to present. Alex stood, walked to the head of the table. Margaret and Victoria moved away like he was carrying plague. Motion 1, he said, voice steady as stone. Immediate audit of all financial records, particularly those handled by Julian Hart, for evidence of fraud and manipulation. Seconded, Charles said immediately. All in favor. Laura called. Every hand except Victoria's, Margaret's, and Julian's went up. Motion passes, Laura recorded. Motion 2, Alex continued. Suspension without pay for Victoria Reed and Julian Hart, pending results of said audit and investigation into their relationship and potential conflicts of interest. You can't, Victoria started. All in favor. Laura called again. Same hands. Same result. Victoria's face crumbled. Alex, please. We can talk about this. We can. Motion 3, Alex said, not looking at her. Effective immediately, I'm assuming active CEO position of Voss Holdings and all subsidiaries. Charles Reed. Voss, Margaret corrected automatically. Charles will remain as advisor. Margaret Voss is removed from all operational decisions pending retirement package negotiations. You bastard, Margaret hissed. You absolute bastard. We gave you everything. You gave me nothing, Alex said, and the words fell like hammers. I gave you everything. Your store. Your legacy. Your pride. And you paid me back with humiliation and lies. So yes, I'm taking what's mine. Not as revenge. As reality. Motion. Laura prompted. All in favor. The hands went up. Even some of Margaret's friends voted yes. Money respected power. not loyalty. This isn't over, Julian stood, trying to salvage something. I have connections. Lawyers. I'll destroy you. Mr. Hart, Laura said pleasantly, Detective Sarah Okonkwo is outside waiting to discuss fraud charges. Would you like to speak with her, or shall I invite her in? Julian's face went through every shade of pale. Then he ran. Actually ran from the room like a coward chased by consequences. Victoria watched him go. Watched the man she'd betrayed her husband for abandon her the moment things got hard. The irony was so thick you could choke on it. Alex. Her voice broke completely. Please. I'm sorry. I didn't know. If I'd known you had money. That's the problem, Alex said quietly. You would have treated me differently if you'd known I had money. That's exactly why I hid it. But we're married. We can fix this. We can. We're divorced, Alex corrected. I signed your papers last night. They were filed this morning. We're done. No. No, I don't accept that. I don't. Mrs. Reed, Laura said, not unkindly, you accused your husband of theft on camera in front of 300 people. You publicly destroyed his reputation to cover your affair. You don't get to keep him just because you found out he's rich. Victoria looked around the room. At the board members who wouldn't meet her eyes. At her father, who looked older and smaller than he had an hour ago. At her mother, who was staring at Alex like he'd personally betrayed every ancestor on the Voss family tree. You ruined us, Margaret said. You came into our family and destroyed it. No, Charles said, and his voice was strong for the first time in 5 years. We ruined ourselves. Alex tried to save us. We were just too proud to see it. Alex gathered his papers. I'll send details about the transition. Charles, I'll need your help with. Whatever you need, Charles said. It's the least I can do. Alex walked toward the door. Stopped next to Victoria. I loved you, he said. That wasn't fake. I really did. I just wish you'd loved me too. The real me, not the version you needed me to be. Victoria's face shattered. She reached for him. He stepped back. Then Alexander Reed walked out of the boardroom, leaving behind a family that had taught him the most expensive lesson of his life. Some people only love what you can do for them, never who you are. Behind him, Victoria collapsed into a chair and cried like the world was ending. For her, maybe it was. The detective who asked better questions. Detective Sarah Okonkwo was waiting in the lobby with a coffee and a knowing smile. Mr. Reed. Detective. I'm going to save us both some time, she said. I reviewed the case. Talked to the actual lawyers. Read through the actual documents. There's no embezzlement. There's just a very wealthy man who was extremely generous and got publicly destroyed for it. So I'm closing the investigation. No charges. She handed him a card. But I do have one question. Why did you let it get that far? You could have stopped this weeks ago. Alex thought about it. Because I needed to be sure. Of what? That there was nothing left worth saving. The detective nodded slowly. And there wasn't. She smiled sadly. Rich or poor, heartbreak costs the same. Yeah, Alex said. It does. 2 weeks later, Voss Family Market reopened as Reed Market Group. The sign was massive. Modern. Clean. Alex had designed it himself, simple but strong, like everything he built. The crowd was bigger than anyone expected. News crews. Curious shoppers. Employees nervous about their future. And in the back, barely visible, Victoria and Margaret watching from across the street like ghosts at their own funeral. Alex stood at a podium, same suit he'd worn to the board meeting, and spoke into microphones he'd once been too quiet to use. Thank you for coming, he started. 2 weeks ago, I stood in this store and was accused of being a thief. Today, I stand here as its majority owner. The truth is complicated. But here's the simple version. I bought this company 5 years ago to save it. I worked in it because I loved it. And I hid my ownership because I thought pride mattered more than truth. The crowd listened, silent. I was wrong. Pride built on lies isn't pride. It's just fear wearing expensive clothes. So today, we're starting fresh. New name, new vision, but same promise. We take care of our people. We support our community. We build things that last. Applause. Real and warm. Alex saw Marcus in the front row, grinning. The kid had been promoted to assistant manager. Alex had told him why, because you care about the work more than the credit. One more thing, Alex said. To everyone who shared videos of my humiliation, who laughed at the comments, who believed I was a thief because it was easier than asking questions, I don't blame you. We live in a world that loves fast stories more than true ones. But I hope my story teaches you something. The quietest person in the room might be the strongest. The one who serves might be the one who owns. And the one you dismiss might be the one you needed most. More applause. Someone whistled. Across the street, Victoria turned away. Margaret followed, both of them smaller somehow, like the truth had physically shrunk them. Alex didn't watch them go. He was done looking backward. After the speech, he cut the ribbon. The doors opened. People flooded in, and Reed Market Group was born. The rooftop where kings breathe. That evening, Alex stood alone on the rooftop terrace he'd had built. Below, the city glowed. Above, stars tried to compete with light pollution and lost. He held the chipped blue coffee mug. Thought about throwing it off the roof. Making some symbolic gesture about letting go. But that felt fake. The mug was ugly and old and reminded him of when he'd been stupid enough to believe love could be earned through service. He didn't regret the lesson. Just the tuition cost. You won, Laura said, joining him with 2 glasses of wine. Everything you wanted. Did I? Company's yours. Reputation restored. Victoria's humiliated. Margaret's powerless. Julian's facing fraud charges. That's not winning. Alex smiled. It's winning. Just feels emptier than I thought it would. That's because revenge doesn't fill holes, Laura said. It just makes new ones. Then what does fill them? Building something new. Being someone new. Letting go of who you had to be and becoming who you actually are. Alex looked at her. When did you get wise? When I spent 5 years watching a billionaire pretend to be a janitor because he loved a woman who barely learned his middle name. She knew my middle name. Really? What is it? Alex paused. I don't actually remember telling her. Laura laughed. My point exactly. They drank in silence. Below, a child waved at someone across the street. Their parents scooped them up, kissed their head, carried them home. Simple love. Uncomplicated. Do you regret it? Laura asked. Hiding who you were? No, Alex said honestly. I learned what people love when they don't know you have money. Turns out, in my case, the answer was nothing. That's dark. That's true. So what now? You're 32, rich, free, and famous for the weirdest reason ever. What does the Silent King do for an encore? Alex thought about it. I think I'm done being silent. Yeah. I think I'm going to build things that matter. Hire people who deserve chances. Make noise about what's right instead of staying quiet to keep peace. He smiled. I think I'm going to stop making myself small so others feel big. That's good, Laura said. You wear confidence better than humility anyway. They clinked glasses. Drank to new chapters and old lessons and everything in between. Alex's phone buzzed. He ignored it. Buzzed again. You should check that, Laura said. Might be important. Alex pulled out his phone. Unknown number. Message request on a private app he rarely used. The kind billionaires used when they wanted privacy. He opened it. Congratulations on reclaiming your throne, Mr. Reed. Impressive. But before you get too comfortable, we should talk about Tech Global Industries, the company that bought your startup. Specifically, about Clause 17B in your sale agreement. The one about reacquisition rights. The one that activates when you publicly establish majority ownership of a comparable tech venture, which, according to our lawyers, Reed Market Group's new AI inventory system qualifies as. We'll be in touch. Welcome back to the game. TG Legal. Alex's face went still. Laura saw his expression. What? He showed her the message. She read it. Read it again. Oh. Oh no. Yeah. Did you know about this clause? I thought it was standard. Didn't think it mattered since I wasn't planning to. But you did, Laura finished. You just went public as a tech company owner again. Alex laughed. No humor in it. Just irony sharp enough to cut. So let me get this straight, he said. I spent 5 years hiding from my past. Finally reclaim my identity. And the second I do, my past comes to collect. Looks like it. Alex looked at the city, at his company, at the empire he'd just won back. Then he smiled. Real this time. Dangerous. Good, he said. Good. I was getting bored anyway. He finished his wine, set up a meeting with Tech Global. Let's see what game they think they're playing. Laura grinned. Now you sound like the Alex Reed I used to work for. That's because I am him again. Alex set down the chipped blue mug, carefully, gently, like saying goodbye to an old friend. The Silent King is dead. Long live the one who learned not to apologize for existing. Below, Reed Market Group's new sign glowed against the night sky. Above, stars watched a man remember who he'd been before he'd learned to be small. And somewhere across the city, Victoria Reed lay awake wondering how she'd lost everything she never knew she had. Thank you so much for watching this story. If this journey touched you, don't let it end here. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs strength today, and tell me in the comments what lesson you're taking from her story. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. See you in my next